Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. We very nearly have the champions in all the respective regions. G2 versus 100T's a massive game in the Americas last night with Boostio talking all kinds of trash during and after as the series concludes. But also big drama in the rest of the Americas. The Brazilian scene is in kind of uproar right now with Loud confirming as far as they're concerned they are not going to be getting rid of less despite the rumours the other day. But MIBR arguably in complete shambles and very much under the microscope today. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, from Dapper, I know that the frustrations continue, shall we say, on the lack of a replay system. To be fair, this is also true in Call of Duty, that nowadays theatre mode just doesn't exist in the same way that it previously did, whereas Black Ops 1, a game that came out in literally 2010, had a phenomenal replay system where you could do everything. You could fly around in the sky, you could put up dolly cameras, like, it was great. And that was a thing in 2010, and yet in Valorant and in other top games, it still ain't a thing. This was unfortunate as well. The Glazers, a North American Challengers team, have been seemingly told by Riot to change their name, which is kind of sad. So Glazers, of course, can have a couple of different meanings, really, but apparently they're being asked to change their name, right? So in the same way that, you know, Together We Are Terrific or whatever it is, probably have to change things as well. So yeah, post replies with your suggestions for any team name that complies with Riot and Knight's rules. So unfortunate for the Glazers, hashtag deglazed, and obviously some interesting responses such as Cream Team, which probably also wouldn't be allowed, but I guess time will only tell on that one. This is then some of the drama in the Brazilian scene especially. It's tough for the Brazilian scene lately because there's been lots of talk about players. Just the way the league is structured, the fact that it's based out of Los Angeles as well, doesn't help on that regard. But also, MIBR as an organisation aren't apparently helping themselves because rumours were emerging yesterday that they used their stipend money that they received from the Valorant League, from Riot Games, to instead of putting that into the Valorant scene, actually buy players for their Counter-Strike lineup, such as Drop and Safe. So, yeah, what do we think about this? There was then further reporting and said, yeah, according to a V-Zone source, the team used money acquired through entry into the franchise system for Valorant to invest in Counter-Strike instead, and has chosen deliberately not to invest heavily in their Valorant team. So, you know, very big drama, to be honest. Now, MIBR, they came out with a statement on this, because obviously they need to deny this, because Riot are going to be like, hang on a second, right, we've been giving you guys money. Now, you also got to understand, there is pots of money, but that doesn't really, as a concept, doesn't really exist, does it? Because on MLBR's balance sheet, they have money coming in and they have money going out. If they're getting this amount of money going in and they're spending this amount of money and some of that's going to Valorant, some of it's going to Counter-Strike, the money's all kind of the same, if you know what I mean. Like, it shouldn't necessarily be. The money for Valorant is expected and probably contractually obliged to be spent in operations in Valorant. But at the end of the day, if they're getting a stipend of, you know, let's say it's like $1 million, I don't even really know what it is, but let's say $1 million coming in, they're spending 800,000 of that in Valorant, then, you know, what about the other 200,000, right? It just sits in the company accounts to be spent at a later date, or maybe you spend another 200k on your Counter-Strike project, for example. So this is, you know, very interesting, and MIBR categorically denies information that it used funds received from the Valorant franchise, not even a franchise technically, but you know what I mean, to sign players and benefit another team from the organisation itself. This is untrue and biased information. Each of its own lines operates with financial autonomy, including Valorant, which operates entirely with the amount received from Riot. So, yeah, regarding their team, let's see about that. This is though when it goes next level, because Bako is gone from the team, and I believe Fraud is going to come in as their new coach. So, yeah, he's gone from the roster. They've been terrible, obviously. Didn't even win a series in their first stage. But then Bruno Povaleri, as usual, comes out with an absolute bombshell. So this is what he has to say in the translation on MIBR's decision-making. And look, it's kind of a long statement, but effectively what he implies is that the MIBR decision-makers at the top ends have effectively deliberately not invested what they could have done and are happy to have a terrible team, in effect. So apparently there's been discussions of 10 possible different lineups. The MIBR board therefore made it very clear that it would not invest heavily in signing players and only approved 2 possible squads. The one they currently have, which was the last option among all, and was predicted to be almost impossible to guarantee places in international tournaments, and the formation with at least 3 foreign players, which didn't work out in the end. So therefore all they could do on the low cost model they're operating on was just sign, you know, free players. In other words, the reality is the MIBR board was aware of the situation and still chose to have the worst result in this stage among all the teams in the Valorant franchises. No one on the coaching staff was in favour of keeping 3 players in the 2023 lineup, but it became the most viable option in the circumstances. So, the fraud hiring was only possible due to the convincing factor of Baka, since his proposal was well below the market value, or MIBR's proposal was well below the market value. So Baka's gone, and the feeling is that, not really his fault here, but they're looking for cheap solutions. So very interesting, isn't it? Because this seems like an organisation to me that does not seem to be worthy of the partnership spot, but they've been chosen to come in, and they are now taking the money that Riot are giving them as a stipend, and they are not investing it. They are instead putting it in the bank, or potentially using it for other sources, as has been described over the last few minutes, and are happy to field a team that is not competitive, does not help their fans or their region, because maybe they're incentivized to do so because of the way the stipend operates. Very interesting, and this is one of those developments that Riot will have to look at and say, well, hang on a second, are we sure that MIBR are a team we want to partner with going forwards if this is the way they're going to behave? Now, Loud, they have been, they qualified for 7 international tournaments in a row. Until now, they will not be in Shanghai, where PaperX will be, of course, to extend their records. There was rumours the other day after they lost that Les will be gone because of financial difficulties, which again Loud are going to come out and deny. So they made this statement yesterday. They put out a press release and they said that in response to the rumours, due to speculation about Les going to the bench, this is our official statement. We categorically deny the information that he's onto the bench due to financial problems, and that we were in discussion to sign Rafa. In both cases, the information is not only untrue, but is also biased and planted with the purpose of disrupting the organisation's environment. Loud still reaffirms the objective of being a high-performance team, but I will just say, when we heard rumours about Loud before, last year, that Aspas was unhappy, things were going to change, they were true in part, right? Okay, maybe everything we heard didn't come true, but there was some truth to the rumours about Loud before, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least some truth about it here, because they say that, they deny that he's going to be going to the bench for financial problems, but they don't necessarily deny that he might be going to the bench, you know what I mean? It's actually very interesting to keep an eye on this Loud story, and just the entirety of the Brazilian scene, because if their team blows up, then it's tough to imagine a quick world where Loud get back to the top. So 100T, they were dicing with the devil yesterday, putting this one out there, and well, guess what happens? Now, in the Chinese region, we did have Trace Esports losing to Dragon Ranger Gaming in the end. Another case where Trace Esports, they look pretty good for the regular stage, but then when push comes to shove, it's Dragon Ranger Gaming, and another Russian player here with the first name Ilya, absolutely popping off, and Dragon Ranger come back 13-8, 13-7. I was talking about this team the other day because they are the team that, of course, got through Ascension, so was a great storyline. They've made it through. FPX, though, as well, they took down Edward 2-0. We've kind of seen this before, where Edward, they will lose a series like this, but then when they rematch in the finals, they will win, and they are up 1-0 and 8-2 on the split. This is, to be fair, a best of 5. They won the map 13-10. So we'll see if Edward make the grand finals and win. I think it's maybe too early to say there's been a changing of the guard yet in the Chinese scene, but I don't think it's entirely impossible, and that means these will be the teams at Shanghai. From the Americas, 100T G2 Lev will get into the series against Crew in a second. Heretics, Fnatic for Esports, of course, we'll see those series. Gen.G, PaperX, T1 we knew, and then the rest of these guys. So what's the strongest region here on paper, right? I would honestly say the Pacific. I'm liking the look of that region. I think if there's ever a time for a Pacific team to finally win an international, it's probably going to be now. But honestly, it's a very competitive league, as we know, around the world. So yeah, this is what's happening right now in the Pacific. We just saw Gen.G take down T1 3-0, by the way, to advance emphatically all the way to the grand finals. 13-2, 13-11, 13-9. So yeah, that Lotus was ugly, and PaperX Gen.G, that's going to be very telling, I think, in terms of what happens. For T-Sports, as we saw, they get the victory against KC, and this was pretty damn emphatic, right? I've been really impressed by For Esports lately, and KC, the team that looked so good, obviously, going through to Masters Madrid, the only maps they won in this game on the Icebox were pistols. They won the pistol on the conversion, they won the pistol on the second half, didn't even convert, and they lost literally every single other round. So For Esports crushed him. It was 13-10 on the Sunset as well. GG's, KC are out of there. And then we had rather telling series, I will say, Heretics Fnatic, because there's been talk, oh, a Fnatic back, you know, they won that one series, Leo went off, oh, Leo doesn't have an absolutely dominant performance, well, guess what happens? They get slammed. And this Heretics team is nasty, genuinely. Like, ever since Woot's come in, they haven't lost yet. They've barely lost a map. Like, Gen.G Fishy is looking like the best Sentinel in the world. Like, what is going on right now? Like, this team continues to go from strength to strength, and it was 13-15 on the Lotus, not on Fnatic's pick, of course, a good map for them, but Heretics, they like this map as well. And then Breeze, they got embarrassed, 13-4, slammed out of the map, no problem at all. Like, Heretics are disgusting. We've talked about Fnatic, like, they've got incredible talents, also their team chemistry was just so good. Not really the case anymore, but Heretics can shoot straighter than, like, anybody in the world. Like, if there's one team that have the best shots right now, that just hit headshots, like, it might be Heretics, I'm not gonna lie. Durko is pretty frustrated about the state of the game, you know, nerf the Odin or fix these thin walls, it's too broken, it's not even funny how much damage I make without seeing a single person in 1 second, you know, which I agree, I think that is kind of a stupid part of the game, not really a conversation for today, but Heretics, of course, they win, they move on to the finals, Fnatic may have a chance to still do so, they're still qualified for Shanghai, but it's not going to be easy sailing, but I'll just share a clip here from Crew versus Lev, where Aspas completely turns the game on its head.
Meltzer tries to take the fights on his
He took that fight, so this guy would be undetected, but surely it was kind of obvious.
3 players. Corners closing in. Mazzino will fall. Oh,
Yo, don't fight him. Run. I would run.
Shy needs to run right now. Not opting to take the fight, just barely getting away.
Yo, Aspas is a demonic presence. He is he is so scary, dude.
Scared both players of Crew are, as they should be. Respect shown, and Aspas
30 seconds left.
with an opportunity to flip this map on its head. An opportunity to be the spark. A 1v2 in a situation like this. Shy with a weapon, but he's so far away.
Look at him. He can just jump around and do anything. He knows they're not going to peek now.
And as you mentioned, that they're not giving him any fights.
10 seconds left.
Oh, this is his angle. He plays this spot so well.
Turns the flash. Gun advantage, health advantage. And of course he falls. It's all on to Shy. The only one who really
1v4, huh?
to begin with, but it still doesn't feel like a
He
fair
wins for
fight.
sure.
Can Aspas deliver once more? Or can Shy snatch this away? The mind game's being played, and the shots come through for Aspas.
He is absolutely disgusting.
To tie us at 5.
He is absolutely disgusting.
So Crew, right, after going 5-0 to start off the stage and then lost their final game, they turn up to the playoffs and they can't deliver the same performance, right? It's got to be gutting for Crew, the fact that, you know, they even won the game one on the Lotus on Lev's pick, and then the Icebox happens, they have a lead on the first half, they lose it 13-11. The Sunset happens, they've got a lead on the first half, they lose it on the end, right? So, yeah, tough result. Lev, I think, are the better team, to be honest. And, you know, I'm glad to see Aspas there at the International because this guy is simply unbelievable. Again, plus 21, 61 in 40 for the dub. It's tough for Crew, the way they went down. But, yeah, I think the G2 loss is going to be the one that's certainly going to haunt them. So, yeah, after such a good run, Crew just couldn't make it happen when it mattered. And, yeah, this is kind of what FNS says, right? Like, need to see Aspas in International again. Tough scenes for Crew Esports, but the other game, of course, was 100T versus G2, and 100T in an interesting spot because they've played so many games and days in a row that they were pretty damn burnt out. But as Boostio says, playing against G2, better send these pigs straight back to Tier 2. And that is what happened, kind of. I mean, it was not a great series from the G2 guys at the bottom of the scoreboard, or really from 100T from a team play perspective. They won the Ascent emphatically. They then lost the bind on their pick and then split. They were down big time. They were down 10-4 here. And then, but honestly, as soon as they won like 15-16, I thought, yeah, this comeback is well and truly on. G2 could not get anything to get on their attacking side. And 100T, man, what a team these guys are turning into. They bring it all the way back. They've made the grand finals in their region. And as Boostio says, roasting these guys, weirdest series of my life. We played at 50% as a team. In grands, we're going to be much more dominant, as he says. And obviously, he was roasting them before and after as well. And Zix, as he mentions here from 100T, they've played so much over the last 2 weeks. No days off. No one knows how much work we've put in every single day to make this happen. And, you know, a day off is going to be nice for those guys going into the grand final. So remarkable turnaround. Of course, those teams have already made it through to Shanghai, but it's going to be Liv G2, and the winner of that plays 100T in the grand finals in a couple of days' time. So very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.